Good evening. It is January 9th, and we are going to read Genesis 21 through 22, 24, Matthew 7:15 through 29, Psalms 9, 1 through 12, and Proverbs 2:16 through 19. All right, let's get it going. Genesis 21 through 22 and 24. Sorry, Genesis 21 through 22, 24. It's been a long day. Abraham traveled from there south to the Negev and settled down between Kadesh and Shur. While he was camping in Gerar, Abraham said to his wife Sarah, "She's my sister." So Amalek, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But God came to Amalek in a dream that night and told him, "You're as good as dead. That woman you took, she's a married woman." Now Amalek had not yet slept with her, hadn't so much as touched her, and he said, "Master, would you kill an innocent man? Don't tell me she's my sister. And didn't she herself say, 'He's my brother'? I had no idea I was doing anything wrong when I did this." God said to him in a dream, "Yes, I know your intentions were pure. That's why I kept you from sinning against me. I was the one who kept you from going to bed with her. So now give the man's wife back to him. He's a prophet and will pray for you. Pray for your life. If you don't give her back now that it's certain death, both for you and everyone in your family." Amalek was up first thing in the morning. He called all the house servants together and told them that the whole story. They were shocked. Then Amalek called in Abraham and said, "What have you done to us? What have I ever done to you that you would bring on me and my kingdom this huge offense? What you've done to me ought never to have been done." Amalek went on to Abraham, "Whatever were you thinking of when you did this thing?" Abraham said, "I just assumed that there was no fear of God in this place and that they'd kill me to get my wife. Besides, the truth is that she is my half sister. She's my father's daughter, but not my mother's. When God sent me out as a wanderer from my father's home, I told her, 'Do me a favor, wherever you go, tell people that I'm your brother.'" Then Amalek gave Sarah back to Abraham, and along with her sent sheep and cattle and servants, both male and female. He said, "My land is open to you. Live wherever you wish." And to Sarah he said, "I've given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. That clears you of even a shadow of suspicion before the eyes of the world. You're vindicated." Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Amalek, his wife, and his maidservants. And they started having babies again. For God had shut down every womb in the Amalek's household of account on account of Sarah's, Abraham's wife. God visited Sarah exactly as he said he would. God did to Sarah what he promised. Sarah became pregnant and gave Abraham a son in his old age. And at that very time, God had set Abraham, named him Isaac. When his son was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him just as God had commanded. Abraham was 100 years old when his son was born. Sarah said, "God has blessed me with laughter, and all who get the news will laugh with me." She also said, "Whoever would have suggested to Abraham that Sarah would one day nurse a baby? Yet here I am, I've given the old man a son." The baby grew and was weaned. Abraham threw a big party on the day Isaac was weaned. One day Sarah saw that the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, had born to Abraham, poking fun of her son Isaac. She told Abraham, "Get rid of this slave woman and her son. No child of this slave is ever going to share inheritance with my son Isaac." The matter gave great pain to Abraham. After all, Ishmael was his son. But God spoke to Abraham, "Don't feel badly about the boy and your maid. Do whatever Sarah tells you. Your descendants will come through Isaac. regarding your maid's son, be assured that I'll also develop a great nation for him. He's your son too. Abraham got up early the next morning, got some food together and a canteen of water for Hagar, put them on her back, and sent them on the way. Sent her away with the child. God wandered. She wandered off in the desert of Beersheba. When the water was gone, she left the child under the shrub and went off, 50 yards or so. She said, I can't watch my son die. As she sat, and she broke into sobs. Meanwhile, God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called from heaven to Hagar. What's wrong, Hagar? Don't be afraid. God has heard the boy and knows that he fixes that he fix knows in the fix he's in. Up now, go get the boy, hold him tight. I'm going to make of him a great nation. Just then God opened his eyes. She looked. She saw a well of water. She went to it and filled her canteen and gave the boy a long, cool drink. She was on the boy's side as he grew up. He lived out in the desert and became a skilled archer. He lived in the Paran wilderness, and his mother got him a wife from Egypt. At about the same time, Amalek and the captain of his troops, Phicol, spoke to Abraham. No matter what you do, God is on your side, so swear to me that you won't do anything underhanded to me or any of my family, for as long as you live here. Swear that you'll treat me and my land as well as I've treated you. Abraham said, I swear it. At that time, Abraham confronted Amalek over the matter of a well of water that Amalek's servants had taken. Amalek said, I have no idea who did this, and you never told me about it. This is the first I've heard of it. So the two of them made a covenant. Abraham took sheep and cattle and gave them to Amalek. Abraham set aside 7 sheep for his flock. Amalek said, What does this mean? These 7 sheep you set aside. Said, It means that when you accept these 7 sheep, you take it as proof that I dug this well and that it's my well. That's how the place got named Beersheba, the oath well, because the two of them swore a covenant oath there. After they had made the covenant at Beersheba, Amalek and his commander, Phicol, left and went back to Philistine territory. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in the Beersheba and worshipped God there, praying to the eternal God. Abraham lived in the Philistine country for a long time. After all this, God tested Abraham. God said, Abraham, yes, answered Abraham, I'm listening. He said, Take your dear son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. Sir, sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on the mountain that I'll point out to you. Abraham got up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took his young servants and his son Isaac. He had split wood for the burnt offering. He set out for the place God had directed him. On the third day he looked up and saw the place in the distance. Abraham told his 2 young servants, Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I are going over there to worship, then we'll come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and gave it to Isaac, his son, to carry. He carried the flint and the knife. The two of them went off together. Isaac said to Abraham, his father, Father, yes, my son, we have a flint and wood, but where's the sheep for the burnt offering? Abraham's son said, Son, God will see to it if there's any sheep for the burnt offering. And they kept on walking together. They arrived at the place to which God had directed him. Abraham built an altar. He laid out the wood. Then he tied up Isaac and laid him on the wood. Abraham reached out and took the knife to kill his son. Just then an angel of God called to him out of heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, I am listening. Don't lay a hand on that boy. Don't touch him. Now I know how fiercely you fear God. You don't hesitate to place your son, your dearest son, on the altar for me. Abraham looked up. He saw a ram caught in the by the horns in the thicket. Abraham took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. Abraham named the place God, Ura. God sees it all. That's where we get the saying, on the mountain of God, he sees to it. The angel of God spoke from heaven a second time. I swear God's sure word. because you have gone through with this and have not refused to give me your son, your dear son. I'll bless you. Oh, how I'll bless you. And I'll make sure that your children flourish like stars in the sky, like sand on the beaches, and your descendants will defeat their enemies. All nations on the earth will find themselves blessed through your descendants, because you obeyed me. Then Abraham went back to his young servants. They got things together and returned to Beersheba, where Abraham settled down in Beersheba. After all this, Abraham got the news: your brother Nahor is a father. Malachi has given him children. Uz, his firstborn, his brother Buz, Camuel, his father of Aram, Kesed, Hazo, Fildash, Jadalf, and Bethuel. Bethuel was the father of Rebekah. Micah gave these 8 sons to Nahor, Abraham's brother. His concubine, Ramah, gave him 4 more children: Tebah, Gaham, Tehash, and Makkah. Good Lord. More names. So the Genesis 21 through 22-24 breakdown. Abraham fails again, lying about Sarah out of fear, but God protects Sarah and keeps his promises anyway. This shows God's faithfulness even when his people are flawed. God then fulfills his promise with the birth of Isaac, the son of promise. In a shocking test, God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, proving that God cares more about the obedient trust than ritual sacrifice. Abraham obeys God and provides a ram, pointing forward to God himself providing the ultimate sacrifice. God reaffirms his covenant. Blessing flows through obedience and faith. The key theme is God is faithful. Obedience proves trust. Matthew 7:15 through 29. Be wary of false preachers who smile a lot, dripping with practiced sincerity. Chances are they are out to rip you off some way or other. Don't be impressed with charisma. Look for character. Who preachers are is the main thing, not what they say. A genuine leader will never exploit your emotions or your pocketbook. These diseased trees with the bad apples are going to be chopped down and burned. Knowing the correct password, saying Master, Master, for instance, isn't going to get you anywhere with me. What is required is serious obedience, doing what my Father wills. I can see it now. At the final judgment, thousands strutting up to me and saying, Master, we preached the message, we bashed the demons, our super spiritual projects have everyone talking. And do you know what I'm going to say? You missed the boat. All you did was use me to make yourselves important. You don't impress me one bit. You're out of here. These words I speak to you are not incidental additions in your life. Homeowner improvements to your standard of living. They are foundational words to build on in life. If you work these words into your life, you are like a smart carpenter who built his house on a solid rock. Rain poured down, the river flowed, a tornado hit, but nothing moved that house. It was fixed on the rock. But if you just use my words in Bible studies and don't work them into your life, you are like a stupid carpenter who built a house on sandy beach. When a storm rolled in and the waves come up, it collapses like a house of cards. When Jesus concluded his address, the crowd burst into applause. They had never heard teaching like this. It was apparent that he was living everything he was saying, quite a contrast to their religion teachers. This was the best teaching they had ever heard. Matthew 7:15 through 29 breakdown says Jesus warns about false teachers. You'll know them by their fruit, not their words. Many will claim faith but lack obedience, and Jesus makes it clear knowing him isn't the same as following him. Ouch. He closes with the parable of two builders, one on the rock and one on the sand. Those who hear and obey his words build a life that stands when storms come. Jesus speaks with divine authority, not opinion. The theme says real faith shows up in obedience. Let me read that first part again. You'll know them by false teachers. Jesus warns about false teachers. You'll know them by their fruit. You are known by your fruit. So the seeds that you plant, I had a conversation this morning with a friend of mine that the seeds that you're planting daily in yourself and in others, the things that you eat, the things that you say, the things that you want, those are seeds that you are planting in yourself, and you'll be known by that fruit. I'm a firm believer of that. Psalms 9, 1 through 12. I'm thanking you, God, for a full heart. I'm writing the book on your wonders. I'm whistling, laughing, and jumping for joy. I'm singing your song, High God, the day my enemies turned tail and ran. They stumbled on you and fell on their faces. You took over and set everything right. When I needed you, you were there, taking charge. You blow your whistle on godless nations. You throw dirty players out of the game. Wipe their names right off the roster. Enemies disappear from the sidelines, their reputations trashed, their names erased from the halls of fame. God holds the high center. He see God holds the high center. He sees and sets the world's mess right. He decides what is right for us earthlings, gives people their just deserts. God, a safe house for the battered, a sanctuary during bad times. The moment you arrive, you relax. You're never sorry you knocked. Sing your songs to Zion, dwelling God. Tell his stories to everyone you meet, how he tracks down killers, yet keeps his eye on us, registers every whimper and moan. Almost done. Psalms 9, 1 through 12 breakdown says David praises God openly for his justice, faithfulness, and protection. God is shown as a stronghold for the oppressed and a refuge in trouble. The psalm emphasizes remembering what God has done and declaring it publicly. Praise isn't just emotional, it's testimony. The breakdown says God is worthy of praise because he is just and faithful. So, last little section here says Proverbs 2:16 through 19. Wise friends will rescue you from the temptress, the smooth talking seductress. That's a mouthful. Seductress, whose faithfulness to the husband she married years ago. Never give a second thought to her promises before God. Her whole way of life is doomed. Every step she takes bring her closer to hell. No one who joins her company ever comes back, ever sets foot on the path of real living. Proverbs 2:16 through 19 breakdown says these verses warn against temptation that pulls you away from wisdom, specifically immoral paths that lead to destruction. Giving in may look appealing, but it leads to spiritual death and regret. Wisdom protects you before temptation traps. The theme to this one is wisdom guards your future by steering you away from destruction. And I had a conversation with another friend of mine today about the same thing about temptation, how as men or even women, we are tempted every day with different things, and how easy it is to be on our phone and to go from looking at Amazon or looking at something to going into things you're not supposed to be looking at. It's so easy to access now, unlike 25 years ago. So be aware of temptations and know that the wisdom that we're supposed to be, it's going to pull away from wisdom. So that's my breakdown on that. Guys, I appreciate you. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. We're going to get through the Bible together, front to back, and we'll see you all tomorrow, January 10th. Have a good night.